Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Monday Nights Nonfiction Book Club. Do me a favor, let me know. Can you see me? Can you hear me? And then we make sure I'm being seen and heard, and then we can move on from there. Uh, are you guys seeing me and hearing me? How are we doing? 5 by 5. Thank you, Scott Hummer. And Scott was the first one here again tonight. Thank you for that. Gosh, we've got a great group of people here tonight. We've got Scott, we've got L Dog. Let me see who else. And Sumi is here this evening. Sumi is a nurse up in Canada, and sometimes the snow gets extremely deep, and so she makes an extra effort to get to these on Monday nights sometimes, and so we appreciate that. And she gets to work early and leaves late, and then she comes and watches us. And so, yeah, if you fall asleep halfway through Sumi, that's quite all right. Get all the rest you can get. Patricia Butler, Little Lone Prepper, and then who else do we have here? I saw some new ones. Utah Mike, good evening, my friend. How are you? Shenandoah George, good evening. And so I was on, I like Survival Dispatch. I really like Survival Dispatch. And it's on every evening from 6 to 8 Central. And so Chris Heaven has a CIA guy he used to have up until the time he got stabbed, and it's not quite as often now. He's in recovery, but we have a Pakistani intelligence officer, and his name is Khalid Mohammed, and that guy is brilliant. Jeff is the CIA agent, and we also have a special forces guy. This evening we had a PhD in the arena of his specialty of being the Middle East. Great show. I recommend it. It's Survival Dispatch. So I was talking to somebody there and invited him over here this evening, and he's going to be here. Shenandoah George, good evening. Higgy Homestead, Triple G Farms, Pete, good evening. Good to see you. We need to talk. So give me a call. Tomorrow night I'm teaching. We need to talk before this weekend. Oh, wow. I'm inside, and I haven't heard him, but thank you for letting me know that. 6 Blackhawks and 3 Chinooks over us right now. Don't forget the Blood Moon tomorrow morning in the morning, probably around 5 o'clock. Thank you, Lone Prepper, for putting on that link. So go and subscribe to that right now, everybody, if you can. Survival Dispatch, great channel, great information, and he has almost as good a crowd following him as I have following me. So just a great show. Let me see if there's anybody else. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm really straining here. Hey, Homestead. Okay. So let's get let's get some rules down. And Pete just texted me a correction. Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you, Pete. So just a couple rules. Number one, we are always nice, polite, and respectful to each other. And this channel is now 3 years old, and most of these people have been with me for the full 3 years. So once you get to be known and respected and a good contributor, then we make you a moderator. So all the people that you see who are moderators are people that I trust. They keep the riffraff out. They keep the complainers out. They keep the trolls out. They keep the bots out. And I've given them discretion. And if you do something that they don't like, they're going to tell you, and they have full authority to get rid of you. We try to keep this a family-friendly show. We don't want any arguing. We just want information. I'm not into proselytizing politics or policy or anything else. My main concern is that is in our circle of concern, but not in our circle of influence. What we can control is what we can do. And so getting knowledge to you about what we can do after the effects is what this channel is for. I'm not going to give you, this is the story of the day or anything like that. I'm going to say, here's what we do. If we understand the story of a day and it comes to fruition, this is what we need to do about it afterwards in order to survive. My whole thing is, what are we going to do to survive? Okay, so that's it. Cats and prepping, yeah. Cats and prepping and I had a good conversation here online just the other day as well. Okay, so let's get into this. I want to get about 5 chapters done this evening, if we can. Let me find my glasses. Here we are. Should survivalists use and depend on advanced technology? Well, it depends upon the scenario, okay? If it's a scenario where the infrastructure is pretty much left up in the sense of, we have the grid up, we have communications up, then yeah, it's going to be great. Go ahead and use the internet. Go ahead and use your cell phone. Go ahead and use anything you have available to you to get the communications that you need. The primary purpose of you using communications in a grid in a shtf scenario is, number one, to receive information that's going to be advantageous to your continued existence, so that you are aware of potential threats or threats in your area. Okay. Number two, to coordinate the members of your group or the members of your community in reacting to whatever threat that number one might be. It could be weather, it could be wild animals, it could be fire, it could be bad guys, it can be a lot of things. But we're going to depend upon technology, we're going to depend upon radio communications or cell phone communications or something to gain information, use that information to protect ourselves and our friends and family. That's pretty much it. Creative Redundancy, good evening, good to see you. Phioxerus, good to see you as well, welcome. So in that sense, yes. Now in a grid down scenario, if you become too reliant upon technology, you're going to be in a world of hurt, okay? Because it's not going to be there. I am looking into Meshtastic. It appears to be a fairly simple communications device operating up and around the 5 gig arena, 5 gigahertz. It's a line of sight system. I'm looking at getting both a mode for myself as well as a repeater to put up on the top of the house so that I can have control, or well, not control, I can have access to a whole bunch of other nodes in the area. But the problem is it's not that popular right now. So maybe if you build the infrastructure, the participants will come. I don't know. But I'm really looking into that. There's a guy down in San Antonio who runs PrepperNet District 13 in San Antonio. His name is John Plato. On Facebook, John Plato, Jon Plato. Follow him. This guy is a wizard. He knows a lot of good stuff on Facebook. He has a group down there that's very active. They do a lot of great training. They're in Northwest San Antonio. I'll drive down there for their training quite often. There's another one in Bastrop. It's Bastrop Viking Preparedness, and that's Dwayne Schmidt on Facebook. Another phenomenal group. They got 2 fantastic trainings coming up this month, and one of them on the 28th is going to be on replacement radio communications and encipherment. So how can you get, how can you secure your messages in between 2 different nodes in the event of SHTF? So there is an alternative. I know that Rick, who is on here sometimes, and he may join us here later on this evening at, what is his handle online? Ready, I think it's Ready Magazine. But anyhow, Rick is getting into Meshtastic, and he's got a node down in South Austin. So we're going to try to see if I can connect with him if I get Meshtastic. But that will probably be up after a grid down situation. Now, if you're into what most people call ham radio, and I'm going to be a little bit of a butt here. To me, ham radio is the traditional ham radio, and that's going to be the HF communications from the 40-meter band, which is going to be down around the 1.5 arena megahertz, up to, and then it goes into the 50 megahertz arena, which is about the 6-meter band. And so that's what we consider typically as ham radio. Then they came out with an addition to it, and the addition is the 2-meter, which is 150 megahertz, give or take, and the 70 centimeter, which is up in the UHF range. And that's the handy talkie. That's this guy right here. Okay.
Welcome.
Okay, so it just so happens that on Monday nights, they have the new operator network that operates on our repeater. This is duplex, okay, duplex FM. And duplex means that in order to hit that receiver, I'm transmitting on one frequency and receiving on another. And so if you don't have the understanding of duplex and how to program duplex into your handheld radio, don't know the repeater frequency and offset, it's not going to do anything, because you're going to be transmitting simplex, okay? And if you do simplex, that's this radio. This is GMRS.
Welcome. Channel mode.
So I leave this on channel 19 most of the time, which is the common, kind of like CB, it has a channel 19. This is channel 19. There's a sticker on the back of my pickup says, my call sign, and it has channel 19. We're listening, and that's common. And I have one of these in my truck that's mounted along with CB. But that will probably be up because it's single channel. I mean, it's simplex. It transmits and receives on the same frequency. So anytime you get the FRS, GMRS, Meshtastic, and CB radio, those are all simplex, very easy to use. Downside, all of them are line of sight radios, probably about a 3-mile max range. The higher you get, the more range you're going to get. CB is in the AM range. It's in the HF range, 29 megahertz band. So with CB, you get a little bit of a bend, not as much as you would down, let's say, at 20 megahertz, but it will bend a little bit. And that is amplitude modulated. So, it's going to have all those advantages of distance in comparison to the frequency modulated radios. But, just to say that typically speaking, generically speaking, if you are totally dependent upon advanced technology in a post-SHTF world, you're gonna hurt if the grid is down. Okay, moving on to number 123. Should survivalists organize or join survival groups and prepper clubs, or should they remain isolated? Here's one of the problems that we have, and that is you want to maintain OPSEC, okay, operational security. You don't want that many people around you to know what you have, because you never know who's going to come and accost you to get what you have in an SHTF situation. But at the same time, you want to invite people around you to come be part of you if SHTF happens, because none of us can do this alone. So there's that chasm between do I trust you enough to let you know, or if I do trust you, will you violate that trust? One of the guys that I had, Dave, he's a handyman. And so I was having problems with my shelving in my pantry. And so I asked Dave if he would help me reinforce the shelving in my pantry. And so he came in and I said, Dave, you're one of only about 5 or 6 living human beings who has been inside this room and knows what's in here. I would appreciate it and keep it. And this is a part of our contract. You're doing work for me. It needs to stay that way. And he said, okay. So he went, he goes, oh, wow. The very next business meeting we had, about 40 people there, he stood up and he says, you aren't going to believe what Lee has in this room. I go, oh, man, so who can you trust? And hopefully that's been years ago. So hopefully those people have forgotten. But anyhow, there's that chasm. You don't want to be alone. You got to sleep sometime. Okay. But at the same time, can you trust them enough to really invite them in? Okay. Then the people you trust, like my best friends, one of them lives in South Austin. Two of them live in South Austin. One of them lives way over in uh, what's the name of that town? I can't remember the name of the town. It's west, almost in the mountains before you get into the Colorado River Basin. And then Earl lives on a farm up by Andice, which is pretty far north. Probably my best friend. And gosh, just my friends, none of them live close by, what I would call close by. So they aren't here. Some of them, like Earl, who lives on a farm, we would probably be better off going to his place than him coming down here to mine. That's just, the fact of life. So how do you create that group so that you don't have to do it alone? I am of a solid mind, and this is Lee's personal opinion. I'm not asking you to agree with it. I'm just asking you to accept the fact that I have made the choice that my number one preference is to hunker down. Okay? I am too old to walk the streets in the case of an SHTF scenario. I would be more like the father-in-law of what was her name that married. She got married and had the baby, and then she and her husband was beaten to death by the guy with the bat in The Walking Dead. Her father had that camper, and so that would be me. I'd be in a camper, but I'd run out of gas somewhere, and then I'd just have to stay there. But no, I'm not going to be a walking refugee. I'm going to stay right where I am. So that means that I need people here with me as a protection device. So can the house support as many people as I would like to have? Probably not. So that means I need to recruit my neighbors, okay? So a lot of complexities there. So the answer to this is, and we're going into the next question as well. The answer to this is, I don't think lone wolves are going to make it, to be honest with you. I don't think the Rambos will make it. I know that that's a very popular thing. Everybody, there are people out there that's their number one thing is their bug out bag or their go bag. I'm sorry, I just don't see that. I think it's a good fallback. If a fire comes, there's a couple conditions. I would say I would have to evacuate, but if I don't have to, I'm not going to. Number 127, should survivalists relocate to rural or wilderness areas? I will tell you, I know a lot of the farmers around here. One of the things I'm going to recommend you do is go to your local farmers market now. Make friends with the people from the farming community who are selling at your farmers market. Get their cards, strike up conversations with them, talk to them, because aliens, foreign people they don't know, people they don't like, people they don't trust are not going to be accepted in the rural areas. I worked in a rural area. I was the HR manager for an electric co-op in a small town in rural Texas. And after having been a consultant there for 7 years and an HR manager for 3 years, I still was the new guy on the block that nobody trusted because you had to have generations. Oh, by the way, we called ourselves the power behind the president because one of the people we provided power to was the Texas White House for George Bush. He was inside of our service area. So, I will tell you that the rural people have an immediate distrust of urban people, okay? Even suburban people. There's just an immediate distrust there. Start making those relationships now, and the easiest way to do it is on Saturday morning, go to your farmer's market, strike up a conversation. Don't try to build, can I come to your place yet? Early. It may take you a couple of months before you get into the conversation. I would do it as teach me how. Can you show me how? Can you teach me how? learn from them, and then build that trust so that then they can say, well, yeah, I'll show you where I live, Um, so I think that, hey, creative redundancy, good evening. So yeah, go there, do that. Because if you go to the rural community, they're going to shoot at you before you get there. I can guarantee you that. Should survivalists use social media and the internet to improve? Whoops. Nope, that's wrong. I flipped ahead too far. Okay, here we go. What kind of missions can a survival group have to retain a positive focus? Look at this. He's got a whole bunch of good information here. Get the book, read the book, highlight it, tab it. Unbelievable. He divides this up into 4 major groups. Member emergency and preparedness support that provides training, information, equipment, and supplies in affordable and practical programs. That's basically this one group that I belong to. There's guys in Cedar Park is the name of the town I was trying to think of earlier. There's Cedar Park, Liberty Hill, Austin. Our Camo guy for the group lives way down south in New Braunfels. We've got guys from all over a 7-county area. And basically what that group is, and we even have the CEO of a major preparedness company, retail company, is in this group, okay? And so what I can tell you is we go there and we train leaders of the local groups. So the anticipation there is I go there, learn skills that I come back here to my area and train my local people about, okay? That's the whole purpose of that group. There was another group I belonged to, and it kind of died as a result of the cough lockdown in 2020, but it was called Texas Preparedness Group. Have not seen that much of it since then. There are some makeup groups. I will tell you that Tamara Lightheart has a fantastic group, and it's Preparedness Net, I believe it is. But that's a fantastic group, and you can also find out that she has maps showing where people are. Those are great groups to belong to. This one, get the idea, you're going to go to another area, maybe a little bit of a drive. You're going to learn something, you're going to bring it back to your group, okay? Then there are member liberation through self-reliance. And so that's going to be basically like what you have up in the homestead type of groups. I would say that that's going to be like Pastor Joe Fox in the Ozarks. That's going to be like some of the groups up in Idaho, where basically what you're doing is you're getting away from the influence of the bad influence of the urban, suburban communities. You're establishing a community for yourself. It's common livelihood. People are learning together, but they're also worshiping together. And so I would say that that's the second one. And so his synopsis here is work to create a semi-independent lifestyle and economic work network that reduces risk, regulation, taxes, and waste while improving overall life security and quality. So that's kind of that small preparedness group that's getting out and buying land and then being a unified system, a coherent system out in the sticks. What does Pastor Joe Fox call his community? I forget, but anyhow, he has a great YouTube channel as well. Strength through networking and mutual support. Networked communities of self-reliance will be able to exchange instructors, share resources, combine operations and purchases, and engage in trade and barter for critical supplies and skills in an emergency. That's what I'm trying to do right now. And so Rick and I belong to several, and we represent the survivornetwork.org. And so I'm on the board of directors. Rick is the vice president. But we go to different meetings throughout the area. Bell County, up in the Temple, in the Colleen, Hawker Heights area. I go to Viking Preparedness in Bastrop. I go to John Plato in San Antonio. And so we're trying to get all these people working together. As a matter of fact, Dwayne, Viking Preparedness, has done a superior job of calling in people from different preparedness groups and trying to create a common communications protocol. And so I'm part of that common communications protocol. Just a phenomenal way. All these different people of different groups are getting together to form a cohesive thing here in Central Texas. And so I like that. We're sharing resources. They've got this class coming up on the 28th. If you're in Central Texas, go to Viking Preparedness and Bastrop Viking Preparedness. Take a look at their calendar. They've got some training coming up on how to use the radio, how to encrypt your messages so that the bad guys don't know what you're talking about on the radio. Got some good training coming up. Check Belton, and that's Bell County survivors. He has same thing. They have great training as well. The last training they had was basically on precious metals. So that's a fantastic group. I've really enjoyed them as well. The last time I was down to San Antonio, John gave a class on buy your Baofeng UV5R, bring it to the meeting, and we'll help you program it. And so that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Okay, how should a survivalist budget? Oops, is that going too far? Where am I? I'm still on this one. I don't know how I got that far back away from my pages. Community service and education, advocate and educate for preparedness and self-reliance through community-based programs. I'm working with our county emergency services department right now to do that. We are working to get a GMRS repeater on top of the county emergency services building and get everybody on GMRS. And that's a very easy thing to do. And GMRS is so much easier to use than the 2 meter, 70 centimeter ham. Simplex FM, same range. I mean, everything is comparable. And so of the two, if you were to ask me as a licensed ham operator and a licensed GMRS operator, for survival purposes, for emergency communications purposes, which one would I recommend to you? I would recommend GMRS. Yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit more for the radio, but it's going to give you maybe, $10, $15, $20 more. But you're going to get far better service. I think you'll be happier with it than you will be with the 2 meter, 70 centimeter ham. So the community service and education gives constant and constructive activities, which are essential. These include meetings, field trips, training, community outreach, and classes. Focus on the quality and compatibility of your group, not the size. 3 or 4 devoted and loyal members is better than a dozen inactive, unreliable members. A group much larger than 50 should probably consider dividing and networking. Setting limited goals can leave your group dead. You are never ready enough or self-reliant enough. There can be no point at which you are done preparing. I belonged to a group here in Austin, and the leader just did not do any planning at all. And the very first meeting we had, he lives in an area, his house is unmarked, you couldn't find it. It took me an hour to drive there, country driving. Got there, could not find the house, had to be helped in because there's no street number on the street, and he's back off the streets through a closed gate. We got there. After an hour driving there and an hour driving home, half a tank of gas in my pickup. The only class we were going to have was how to tie knots, and he had not prepared for the class and didn't know how to tie the knots he was teaching us. I felt that was a total waste of time. And we went inside and had some beef stew that his wife made and talked about his time as a Roman reenactment person and all these other kinds of things. I thought, wow. So I went there a second time for a second meeting, and same thing. Just when you know that you're putting in far more effort than what you're getting out of it, then it's time to say goodbye and look for something else. And he got on our Facebook page and started whining that nobody was supporting him, and he was doing all this work and nobody was supporting him. I said, leaders don't whine in public. That's just one of those things. You don't do it. What we should do is ask, what is it you want from us? What can I do to make this a group that you are willing to come to, that you're willing to attend? And so we found out that they wanted some classes, and we started organizing those classes. I don't know. I left the group, but after we had come up with a list of classes and we were getting those organized, I said, you know what? Maybe it's best for me just to leave the group. Sometimes you realize that you're the problem, not them, and so me trying to turn it into what would be something that I figured would be a little bit more advantageous. I was the problem, not them. So it was best. It was not a good fit. Okay, let's put it that way. So I had to acknowledge the fact that it was not good for me, and because of that, I was not good for them, and I didn't want to. I needed to leave, so I did, and that's just the way it is. No, the Viking Preparedness group is not run through Pastor Fox's Patreon channel. They are on YouTube. So look up Bastrop Viking Preparedness on YouTube, and that's where you'll find them. Okay, next one. What are the do's and don'ts for a new or existing survival organization? Do's: have an established and positive mission. Make sure everybody knows what it is. For example, that one that I felt was doomed to failure, this guy had a beautiful setup out in the country. Basically, he was, when you talk suburban, this guy was probably on 5, 6, 7 acres, access to water. He had humongous gardens. I mean, he could live out there forever. And his whole thing was he wanted bushcraft and bug out. And I'm thinking, God, this is the place I would like to bug out too. And you're talking about bugging out from here? No, I'm a hunker down guy. So one of those contentions right off the bat was this group was focusing on bugging out. I'm focusing on hunkering down. Okay, so there's a disconnect there just right off the start. So make sure you understand the mission, vision, and values of the group. If the mission, vision, and values don't match yours, start your own. Find people who agree with your mission, vision, and values. Then the next one is have a vision of where you want to be 1, 5, or 10 years into the future, regardless of events and conditions. So it's not just preparing for an apocalypse. It's also, what are we going to create as far as a self-reliant community? How can we help each other? What knowledge do we want to gain? Where are we going to be as far as friendship and trust in 1, 5, 10 years? Those are some of the harder questions that you have to do. Develop a solid core group of leaders and instructors? Absolutely. Be ready to work with other like-minded organizations, such as fraternal, business, religious, or community groups. For example, we have the Lone Star Cast Iron Dutch Oven Society here in Williamson County. Lone Star Dutch Oven Society, that's what it is. And so they specialize in cooking Dutch oven meals. Think about how the Dutch Oven Society can provide training to your survival group. They're doing what was used to cook in the 1800s. Man, oh man, if we lose power, that's exactly what we're going to revert back to. That's a good alliance. Learn from them. Learn how they're doing. Communications. Go to your local ham club. Williamson County, the Austin Regional, Austin Radio Club, ARC. So, those kinds of things. Volunteer to be a volunteer firefighter. Learn EMT skills through your volunteer fire department. There's all these different ways that you can find parallels to what you want to accomplish ultimately, which is preparedness. And you can find other groups that are going to help teach you and support you in what you're wanting to accomplish, okay? Be ready to work with other like-minded organizations. We talked about that. Military families do this now. Boy, let me tell you. Let me tell you an experience, okay? When we moved to to Fort Huachuca from Germany, we signed for our quarters probably about 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, We had a card table, folding chairs, a black and white TV. What else did they bring over to us, Helen?
Somebody brought that to us.
Huh?
That wasn't us. That must have been you and Donna.
Okay. I was married to another woman when I was at Fort Huachuca.
No,
but-
nobody brought us a TV at Fort Huachuca.
Okay, no, I just started an argument. I'm sorry. But anyhow, the military, when you get into the military, there's this, like this. People come, they let you know what they're doing to support you. There's this terrible, there's this fanatic support that you would not believe. And so, you know, we were in our house in the first house we bought in Round Rock. We were in that house a couple years before we found out that our next door neighbor was a distant relative of Helen's. We just never sat down and had that conversation, you know, just didn't find out. So you find out those things in the military very quickly within the first day to a week. In civilian life, you don't. You don't even know who your next door neighbors are sometimes. So just totally different societies. But, you know, we thrive on that. Okay, some of the don'ts. Don't allow mission creep or diversion. Make sure you stay on point. Review your charter. Review your mission, vision, and goals. Don't allow people to get involved in politics. Don't allow people to get into religious discussions. There's one rule. We have one guy in our group who is not of the same denomination as the rest of us. And he thinks that his religion is the only right one. And so I've asked him a couple times at our business meeting where we get together every Tuesday morning for breakfast. And I've asked him several times, let's not talk to religion, you know. And so in our group charter, we have no discussion of religion. I said, people will be worshiping the way that they choose to worship. We don't ask you to accept it. We don't ask you to support it. We just ask you to respect it. So he can do his thing. We can do our thing. I'm not going to tell him don't do that. He's not going to tell us don't do that. There's just going to be this mutual agreement. I respect you. You respect me. Let's do it that way. Okay. Don't get hung up on the apocalypse of the month. So, you know, like right now, we see a lot of people getting a little bit on the panicky side about World War III and what's going on in in Iraq. You know, Iran? Thank you, Helen. Are there going to be terrorist activities, retribution activities here inside the United States? All these different things. As a matter of fact, I was on preparing for the long-term Facebook channel today, and that was the question. With all these threats, are you doing anything different? I'm saying no. I have a plan. I'm following the plan. If you allow yourself to be influenced by outside events that cause you to get into trouble because you don't follow your plan, it's worse than not having a plan at all. So if you have a plan, follow your plan. And hopefully you've taken into account there's a possibility of World War III. There's a possibility of terrorist attacks. There's these possibilities. This is my plan. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stick to it. Now, there may be very minor modifications as you go along, but you know, in the long run, stick to your plan. Don't get hung up on the apocalypse of the month. Don't become internalized and paranoid. 50% of your activities should be concerned with gathering more members and establishing your level of responsibility and developing trust, I'm going to add. Okay. The other 50% should be internal activities for the benefit and security of your members. Training, common group events that are going to build trust, allow people to get to know each other better, be around each other, and just integrate everything into one cohesive bonding group. Don't compromise on your membership. No matter what skills or resources they offer, you have to reject and avoid association with those who are violent, criminal, or have extremist ideas or views. You know, I definitely there are some people that I will not invite because I think they are extremist in their political views. So just don't trust them. And don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. You'll probably have failed activities. Okay, they don't go the way you want. I did a presentation in that group that we had that I left. I got aqua tabs to give me some samples for water purification. I got nutrient survival, provided some sample and 2 number 10 cans of food for them to taste so that they would buy things. I had all this stuff. The 2-hour class was on food storage, food preparation in a post-apocalyptic world, and water purification. So I had all these great sponsors providing all this giveaway stuff. And it was decided that I did a poor job doing that they wanted to show how to build a sand, charcoal, and gravel water filter instead. Be careful. Be careful. Make sure that you are in sync and don't get discouraged. Make sure you're in sync. Make sure that we have clear understanding of each other ahead of time before we get involved in activities like that. So, you're going to have opportunities where there will be disagreements. Don't let those divide you. Learn from them and find out how you can resolve those better in the future. What kinds of military-style training and tactics would be of value in survival situations? Well, remember, number 1, survival is your primary objective. So my personal answer, and I'm going to disagree a little bit with Mr. Jones, but his answers are far better than mine. I played Army for 21 years. I don't intend to play Army anymore, okay? Now, if you want to come to what I call the Alamo, I'm ready. This will be, as a matter of fact, tomorrow, March 3rd, the Alamo. But, today is Texas Independence Day, by the way, for those of you who don't know. Where was I going? I've played my military time. I don't want to run around in web gear. I don't have any camo gear anymore. Any camo uniforms or anything else. I've done that. That part's over. I can defend. That's all I need to do. Okay. So I'm going to say focus on defensive training. Focus on some of the other training the military has, and they're great. He says if you anticipate combat in urban areas or within buildings, a short-barreled carbine or a folding stock version of a, up here, would be good. Make sure you consider getting reflex sights, which will be a useful addition. He talks about the difference between cover and concealment. I think that's a very important thing for you to understand. Cover means they can't see you. I'm sorry. Cover means they can't hit you. Concealment means they can't see you, okay? Now, concealment, if they can't see you, they can't shoot. They don't know to shoot at you, right? But in concealment, that concealment could be just behind a canvas barrier. So they can't see you, they don't know you're there, but they can definitely shoot you if they want to, if they just sprayed it. Cover protects you from direct fire so that they, unless they maneuver. So if you're standing, let's say, around the corner, they can't shoot you because those bullets aren't going to go through brick walls, right? That's cover. Now, there's both cover and concealment. So they can't see you when you're around that corner either. So there's, they can't see you around the corner. They can't shoot you around the corner. So you're both covered and concealed. So that's where it sometimes gets confusing. Cover protects you from direct fire. Concealment protects you from visual observation. If you are traveling, watch out for potential ambushes. So check the area ahead of you with binoculars and make sure that you're just checking every area for the possibility of a trap or an ambush. He has several good things in here, like cars in the middle of the road, things like that, that are potential ambushes or traps. I strongly recommend you read those well worth your time. I'm going to read you this whole paragraph because I think this one is really, really important. Whether you're moving in daylight or at night, discipline is essential. And we're talking about noise discipline, okay? See, I've got this big, I got it written here, noise discipline. This is talking about especially at nighttime movement. Talking in normal tones is prohibited. Whispering should only be used for essential communications. So what that tells you there is one of the military trainings you might want to do is the infantry ranger hand signals. So how do you signal to somebody else, like stop, come forward, right? So there's all different kinds of things that I see the enemy. There's two, we're marching or walking, right? So if once you understand the sign language that we use to communicate with each other, then you don't have to whisper even. So you can do those kinds of things. Everyone's gear has to be secured so it doesn't squeak, rattle, or clang. Have everybody jump up and down before starting out to make sure that there's no noises, metal on metal contact. Oh, by the way, metal on metal contact is a signal in the military that means that you're being exposed to a chemical, biological agent. So we just say gas. One of the promotion board questions that they will ask you in the Army, everything when you're marching, everything takes a two-step, a preparatory command and a command of execution. So it always takes 2 steps to execute any kind of a marching directive. So the question on a promotion board is, what is the only command you can give to stop a column in 1 step? And the answer to that is gas. If you give if you yell gas, then that means immediately stop whatever you're doing and put on your gas mask. Okay, so that means you got to finish that step you're on, and that's it. Don't take another step and put on your gas mask. It's a trick question, but that's one on the promotion board for those of you who might be in the military. Have everyone jump up and down. We did that after any shining or glowing objects should also be covered. You don't want anything that's going to reflect light. If extreme stealth is needed, rags or heavy socks can be placed over your shoes. Only muted or camouflage colors can be worn. This includes shoes and socks. White flashlights should never be used at night. Red lensed flashlights, preferably covered under ponchos or coats, can be used to consult maps if absolutely necessary. Needless to say, cell phones are strictly prohibited. The only thing I'm going to say about red lights is if you look at most maps, okay, most highways are on a map in red. And so a red light flashlight will not show red objects on a map. So if you're going to, Tuck by V1, good evening, good to see you. So if you're going to read a map and there are red highway lines on their map, I would put another pen over top of that, a blue pen or a red pen, or I'm sorry, a blue pen or a black pen. Usually going to be black because blue indicates water. So black is another form of a road, but I would put black over it so that you have this broad red line, then you have a black line down the middle. That way you can see the black line or the road under red light if you're doing a tactical march. So you can do that, prepare for that ahead of time. Crossing corners, lanes, roads, or anything else. There are 2 theories of thought. One theory is you send a scout across to secure the other side, and then everybody else rushes across at the same time. If you send a scout across, that warns the people over here who may be setting up an ambush that there could be more coming, so they're prepared for more coming, and then when the rest across, your targets. The other option is everybody rushes across at the same time. If you do that, you catch the sentry over here off guard. They probably won't hit anybody, but the disadvantage of that is you don't know what's on the other side. So either way, it's a chance that you're going to take. Find out what you want to do, okay? Okay, so diversions and misdirection. Have somebody down there set off a firecracker or something, get everybody's attention focused over there while you cross over here. Any kind of a diversion like that is going to be there. However, realize that if you're doing a stealth attack and you have a diversion over there, your cover is blown because now they know they can expect something from somewhere, right? So diversions can sometimes be less of a advantage than what you would think they are. Same thing with misdirection. Counter ambush techniques, basically don't get into an ambush. If you do, charge the ambush. That's all you can do, especially if it's a well-designed ambush. Learn basic military maneuvers. So we divide up into 2 fire teams, fire team A, fire team B. So a squad is typically anywhere from 10 to 12 people. You'll have 2 fire teams. You're going to divide it in half. So the squad leader and the radio telephone operator are probably going to be back here. Then 2 fire teams of 4 to 5 people each. Each has a fire team leader. So usually the squad leader is a staff sergeant. Platoon or the fire team leaders are sergeants. So you have sergeant and then 4 riflemen or anything like that. So fire team 1 sets up a base of fire. They're going to support with fire while these guys maneuver. Then these guys get to their point. They're going to set up the supporting fire. These guys maneuver. Okay, so you got what's called bounding overwatch. So while these guys are firing, these guys are moving. These guys set up, they fire, these guys move. So you're constantly moving forward, but one half of your group is always supporting through fire, the other half maneuvering. Okay, that's all I wanted to get covered this evening. Let me go back and check on chat. I'm sure you have some good questions. Let me see here. Those are the wrong glasses. I'm currently trying to read Revelations by Javier Reyes Ayala. It's 570 pages long, and I can only digest it in small amounts. Tammy, that's we have our parish mission is today, and we have a priest from the Divine Mercy, and I pray with the Divine Mercy priests online at 3:00, and well, actually it's 2:00 and 4:00. At 2:00 we do the Chaplet of the Divine Mercy, and at 4:00 we do the Rosary. But anyhow, Father Ken was saying today that when the church canonized the Bible, and so there were 4 different councils starting in 385. So we had 4 different councils. They finally got to the Council of Rome in 425, and that's when the Bible was canonized. And I just taught on this yesterday at Order of Christian Initiation for Adults too. But anyhow, so when here at the Council of Milan, one of the things they didn't do, there was a big argument. Do we include the book of Hebrews, and do we include the book of Revelation? The book of Hebrews, the reason they didn't want to originally include the book of Hebrews in the Bible is because we don't know who the author is, okay? And so they said, well, no, there's enough good content in here where we want to include that in the Bible, so we're going to go ahead and canonize it as part of the Bible. And that was determined at that one. The other one was Revelation is just really, really weird, okay? And so it took all the way until 425. That was the last one that they canonized because they said, man, this is really, really weird. You have to look at it. It's divided into 3 parts, okay? And sometimes the chapters alternate because John, in his writings, in one chapter, he'll be on earth, and the next chapter, he'll give his view of heaven, okay? So there are alternating chapters where that happens. And Revelation is not written linearly. It's written circularly as it ascends, kind of like a Hegelian dialectic, okay, as he ascends. Very, very complex. I recommend you get a good commentary, and there are plenty out there of good commentaries that will help you walk through that. I would say that, you know, if you can, there's the Bible in a Year with Father Mike Schmidt, and he does a really good job of explaining Revelation, and that's here on YouTube. Just look up Bible in a Year with Father Mike Schmidt. I think that the Revelation starts about day 303. I want to say 340. Only the last 20 days of the Bible a year is Revelation, but it's going to be the end of it. So that, you know, you can get lots of good information there. But yeah, that's a weird book. That's a challenging book. That's and I think one of the biggest problems that most modern readers have with it is that it is written to the diaspora to the Greeks who were, I'm sorry, to the Hebrews and to the Gentiles about the Romans. So if you look at, I think it's in Revelation 7, he describes the beast. And what I would like for you to do is, as he describes that, these horns coming down, they have this nose, this bronze nose, they have this golden head, they have long truss of hair, they have this crown of hair. Take a look at a Roman soldier's helmet while you're reading that description and see if the two of those aren't exactly parallel, because what John's writing about is basically about his experiences with the Romans, and it's not as prophetic as a lot of people would like to make it to be in the 21st century, okay? It's more written towards the 1st and 2nd century than it is towards the 21st. So, yes, tucked by V1, bounding Overwatch, that's absolutely correct. That's what I was describing. Okay, let me see. I have 2 measly Chihuahuas, and used to have 3. Izzy got, she was 15 years old. She got to where she was suffering, and so we decided that we would help her with her suffering, and we lost her. And I miss her, and I pray to her every night. She was my daughter's dog. She was my daughter's dog in college. She got her junior year in college to stay in the apartment with her. So that she graduated from college in 2011. So we got that dog in 2010. Oh gosh, she was more than 15. No, she was 15. Yeah, 2010 to 2025. But Izzy was my dog. And so whenever they came to visit, Izzy was always with me. And when Allison had a baby, and the dog got jealous of the baby, and so I got to inherit Izzy. And that was just one of the best animals ever on the face of the earth. Miss her and love her. She was a long-hair teacup Chihuahua. So that was something else. Okay, let me see what else we got here. Don't forget to get dog food. Don't forget to take care of your dogs. We just did an inventory yesterday. I asked Helen if we have to stay inside the house and we can't let the dogs outside, do we have enough dog pads? So they have these pads you can get at Costco, large pads. They contain a full day's pee for a dog, a Chihuahua at least. And so we've got 3 of them throughout the house. And do we have enough to where that will last us for 3 to 4 weeks if we have to stay inside the house during the die-off, I call it, so that we don't have to let people know we're alive and let the dogs outside? Can we keep the dogs inside the house? So that's another thing you may want to consider is getting yourself some dog pads, because you probably don't want to be opening your door and letting the dog in and out while that first 3 to 4 weeks of shtf is happening, okay? Oh, fantastic, Tammy. Yes, good. So yeah, the Fatima apparitions in Portugal, Garabandal, and then we've also got Medjugorje. And so that's one that I'm reading a lot about right now. So yes, absolutely. Okay, Faxor says you can get generic chucks on Amazon, and that would be another alternative to those pads. But Helen says, I think we have some out in the garage. And so I went out in the garage and checked. Yeah, we got 2 more cases of them out in the garage. So I'm very, very pleased with that.
They're the cheapest ones you can ever find.
And she says she just added in, those are the cheapest ones that we have found. So,
And they're good.
and they're high quality. So that's really good. Tucked by V1 says that disposable pee pads for people are pretty much the same as dog pee pads. Compare prices. Often people pads are cheaper. Oh, we'll do that. Thank you for that suggestion.
That makes sense.
Thank you for that suggestion. So yeah, we'll check into that. But yeah, so you want to have an ample supply, because you don't want the dogs going out back in the backyard, especially Addie. Addie has no friends. Anybody that walks within 35 miles of our backyard fence is going to get barked at. Okay, so
Or the wind.
yeah, she barks at the wind too. And of course, if she's sitting in the house and she sees a squirrel on the roof of the house next doors, she's going to bark at that too. Yeah, so but you're going to have all your Another part of that is during that same period when the dogs are going to be kept inside, you're going to have all your doors, windows, and everything else closed. Make sure you get blackout curtains or heavy duty black plastic you can tape over all your windows and doors so that you have light discipline as well. Because a little bitty light flickering out, especially at night, is going to be a telltale sign that there are people indoors. Okay, so with that, I think we can call it a night, and we'll be back next week. I did want to tell you that we have agreed that we're going to do the second and fourth Saturdays of the month are going to be our at 7:30 Central Time. That's when we're going to do our panel discussion of the conflicted cards. So that'll be coming up this Saturday, the 8th, which will be the second Saturday of the month, I believe. No, it won't. Sunday's the 8th. So it'll be the following Saturday. This will be Saturday the 7th, so Saturday the 14th is going to be the Saturday that we will do our next conflicted discussion. We decided after that instead of just doing a straight panel, this person says this person's, we're going to do it more as a discussion type of a deal. We felt that added more value than one person going exclusively. Okay, here we go. Book of Numbers, chapter 6, verses 24, 25, 26. Do me a favor before I go into this. It reminded me, haven't seen Kaylin Strain for a while, so make sure you stop by her channel, Kaylin Strain, Strain. I need to do it as well. She does an MRE review live on Sunday nights. Unfortunately, especially during Lent, I have a conflict with church, so I don't get to support her as much as I would like to, but I would greatly appreciate it if you would support her and just tell her that I sent you, okay? Kaylin, Kaylynn. There might be an E at the end of that, Strain, Strain. But if you would support her, I'd greatly appreciate that. Okay, Book of Numbers, chapter 6, verses 24, 25, 26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you kindly and give you peace. Thank you all so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Hope you got something of value out of this evening. If you did, please, after this is all over, come back, put a comment in the comment lines. That helps with the algorithm so that we can be seen by others. You can, of course, always share it as well. And if you're up to that, and email is in the About Me section. So if you have any questions, concerns, or you have suggestions, please send them to me by email. Thank you, everybody. Please remember to be kind, polite, and respectful to each other because togetherness is the only way. Take care. Bye-bye. In stream. There.